The Bandkanon 1C, a new map and a reworked old map. But first, let's get started with It's Fixed number 33. Good evening, welcome to the channel. I am Old Dead Man, your host. We're going to get started with It's Fixed number 33 and then work into a couple more pieces of news from Gaijin today. So let's get started. Looks like Gaijin is still fixing things in the game, even though we're expecting the next patch to be coming soon. Vehicles received in special events and marathons, says It's Fixed number 33, will be marked with the name of the event you received them in. They're also looking at some preferences for these event vehicles in the future. Now, they don't specify what they mean by those preferences. Maybe a bonus of some type, or maybe some kind of an additional, like not quite premium status, or adding a little bit extra of some kind of a bonus to them. But that's what they're stating. In addition, the square puddles that you were seeing on Poland and Eastern Europe, they're going to be more roundish and more natural now. Plus, oceans and seas will no longer disappear at certain angles on the lowest graphic settings. Shadows of vehicles will also be correctly displayed in the hangar. Starstreak missiles ended up on the short end of the stick after the recent Saklos-Miklos update. They've brought the maneuverability back up with a few tweaks on those Starstreaks. And Xbox players, they had a bug fix with low-quality textures at startup, so good to go for Xbox. As a reminder, they are hot in the middle of the current Devblogs season, so expect a new release to be coming soon. Let's move on to the Bandkanon 1C. The Bandkanon was a later modification of the Bandkanon 1 self-propelled artillery vehicle used by the Swedish Army from 1967 to 2003. Based on the Stridsvagn 103, the chassis was lengthened to include an additional road wheel. Originally, 70 units were planned, but only 26 actually made it out of the manufacturing plant. Shortly after introduction into service, the Bandkanon did set a world record fire rate for artillery of its class, emptying its 15 rounds in 45 seconds. In the 1980s, modifications were done to the Bandkanon to make the 1C version, including a newer drivetrain, the removal of the built-in ammunition crane, and the addition of the POS-2 navigation system. The Bandkanon 1C was 11 meters total length, 3.4 meters wide, 3.9 meters tall, and weighed in at 53 tons. It's a hefty one. It was powered by a Boeing 502-10MA 300 horsepower gas turbine that drove it to a maximum speed of 28 kilometers per hour. The 1C was armed with a 155mm Canon M60 with autoloader and up to 15 total rounds of ammunition in 2 magazines. For personal protection, it also carried a 7.62mm KSP-58 machine gun and 20mm of maximum armor, i.e. just enough to touch off the fuses on the nasty rounds, but not enough to actually save you from anything. It was crewed by a total of 5 men. In War Thunder, the Bandkanon 1C will be joining the Rank 4 Swedish SPG tree, complete with 155mm auto-loading cannon with its impressive rate of fire. And the third item, the new locations and reworked locations. Gaijin is promising several, quote-quote, new locations in the coming Winged Lions update. One is the new Israel air map. Weighing in at 128 kilometers square, the map is based on the border area of Israel, Lebanon, and Syria, with hilly terrain, sparse plains, farms, fruit gardens, and small settlements. Test flights for Israeli aircraft will take place on the new map. The second edition is actually a rework of an old, not-so-favorite Volokolamsk. Apparently, it was very unpopular and was voted off the island using your map ban preferences. They fixed terrain that gave gameplay problems, lowered the hill near the chapel, moved trees and forest, and brought things up to current War Thunder graphical standards. So what do you think of these changes? Are you really excited about maybe that high fire rate Bandkanon 1C? It was a real monster in the test drive on the dev server. And what do you think of these locations? They're definitely leaning into the Israeli aspect of this part of it. Let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And we will see you in War Thunder.